Q&A. So what I'm gonna do this like real raw. I'm gonna read off. I'm actually gonna answer all the questions, but I'll also put them in different parts. So you're not gonna see like a 2-hour video of Q&As. Q&A. So I'm gonna go from the most popular comments and then down. So, and then we're gonna train too. So we're gonna do this in between training. When I answer a question. So that's all it's gonna be on. Right, Greg?
Okay.
Yeah, it's easy. First question we got here is a really good one. From The Art of Supercars. Question for you both. What do you honestly think of each other's physique? What do you think are the strengths and the weaknesses of each?
Okay, well, I'll start. Johnny has a lot of muscle, big muscles. He doesn't have a big chest, and he doesn't have a small waist like the Mr. Olympia guys that win classic physique. So that would be his weakness. But the strengths would be the pure mass. Weakness, the pecs.
Yeah.
Strengths, everything else.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I agree with that. Greg's physique. This will be answering another question later, but I like Greg's physique. The whole thing, really. He's got a good chest. Really good abs when he flexes them in his front double. He just started doing the vacuum. My thing, weakness for me, I think he could have been a really good 212 competitor.
Probably just not as much muscle.
Yeah, but I always thought he could have been a good 212 competitor.
I was good.
I know, but like if you kept going, you would have been. I believe you would have been top 5 at some point.
I just didn't want to like ruin my health with abusing supplements to get to that level because my genetics are not to be huge.
Yeah.
So you got to do the best you can with what you got.
Yeah. Cool. All right, next question is from Average Metal Drummer. Question for you both. After losing the desired amount of body fat, what is the best way to increase caloric intake to optimize muscle growth while staying lean? Answer is?
Don't increase it. Stay ripped. If you get fat, bring it back down.
Yeah. Mine is like once you get there and you're good there and you're not hungry and you're happy, stay there. If you're starving, add like 200 calories.
Yeah, less is more.
Yeah.
The less you can add, the better. The least amount needed to make you happy.
Yeah. That's a good one. All right, next one. It's a good one, actually. From Agustin Fernandez. I hope I answered that. How did you and Greg meet? Was it your relationship like when the camera is off? What's the relationship when the camera is off? And when do we meet?
When it's off, we probably just debate more, argue more.
Way more. A lot more debating, a lot more arguing, a lot more. It gets.
Pick the biggest arguments we have that you've seen, and it would be like that way more often.
Yeah, and louder. I actually get more like this.
That's like me.
Are you kidding me, Greg? Are you serious?
Are you really? I can't post that. Everyone will hate you if they see us really arguing.
How we met? Two times I met him before bodybuilding. I was working at a phone booth, whatever, selling whatever. And the mall's about to close. 5 minutes left for the mall to close on a Sunday. And this guy walks up to me. It's my first time working at the store, so it's my first time closing. And he walks up, and it's like 5 minutes too. And he's like, "Hey, my Bluetooth isn't working." And I'm like, "I have no clue how to do returns." So I'm like, I call my boss. I'm like, "Hey, guy wants to do a return." He's like, "Ask him if he paired it to his phone." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Did you pair it to your phone?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "You got to pair your." It's like Greg's side.
Zero tech skills. I had none back then.
That was before we actually met. So it was before 2012. So yeah, and so he's been like that forever. And then we met my first bodybuilding show. It was my first time competing ever, and Greg already won a bunch of the same show like over and over again in different weight classes. And everybody was like, "You gotta beat Greg Doucette." I'm like, "Who's Greg Doucette? I don't care who Greg Doucette is." I never knew who he was. Everyone was like, "You gotta beat him. He's always winning." Blah blah blah. We finally met we're at the Good Life,
It was at Clayton Park Good Life.
Yeah. We're at where the Jamie came up. He was doing back.
I think I said you're going to be really good in light heavy. Yeah. And you were like, I'm going heavyweight. And I'm like, it's probably not a good idea because I'm going heavyweight. If you want to win, you got to cut down to light heavy.
First time.
Like, what?
The first time I met him, it was like that. I was like, I'm just coming off of my last football season of life.
Johnny's got a tight shirt like this, and you can see his abs popping out through his shirt. And I'm like, yeah, you gotta lose at least 10 more pounds to make light heavy. But he had never done a bodybuilding show, so you would have known you need to be like inside out peel.
I was wearing a plastic bag under a sweater doing cardio, and this guy's telling me you gotta lose 10 more pounds. I'm like, yo, fuck you, buddy. So yeah, then we met, and then he won the show, and then I came third.
And you would have won light heavy had you made it.
I definitely would have.
It just wasn't lean enough to win.
I didn't know. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. All right, that's a good question. All right, let's work out. Here you got a question from Magic 8 Ball. Nice. Question for Greg. Has Johnny always been bigger than you?
Well, no, of course not. How old am I? 44 and you're?
You're an idiot. 37.
So I'm 7 years older than Johnny. So when I started lifting at 10, I was already 80 pounds. How much were you when you were 3?
3? I don't know, man. Probably like 30 pounds.
Yeah, so 30 years ago, I was way bigger than Johnny. Or let's think, when I won my first show when I was 18, you're 11. I'm sure I was way bigger than you then. A better question is, at what age did you get bigger than me? What? So, for example, I was 25 years old. I won nationals for bodybuilding, and you were probably 18. How big were you at 18?
185.
Oh yeah, so you're bigger than me when I was 25.
Yeah.
I was at 25. I was like 175 off season.
At 25?
Yeah.
At 18, I was 185 football scholarships. I benched 225 for.
Now I would have been stronger for sure.
What did you 225 for?
225 natural?
Yeah.
42?
No. At 25 when I was 18. When you were 18 and I'm 18.
Okay, when I was 18, university first year, I benched 342, I think, and I weighed like 147.
Yeah, you're stronger.
When I went to Acadia the last year, I remember I was benching like 405.
How could you squat?
Squats suck because when I went to try for football, I did 275.
Yeah, I was doing 315.
At 22.
I was doing 315. I was 18 years old and 315 for
deep.
Oh yeah, all squat.
Yeah, so my first meet, I squatted 275 and I benched 340 something.
I cleaned
148 pounds.
I cleaned 225 for, hang clean 225 for 12.
Yeah, and my best clean is 245 for 1.
Yeah.
Ever. Like I just don't do that.
Ask me questions. Alright. That was good.
I made it better though than the 8 ball.
Yeah, 8 ball is
8 ball, isn't it?
8 ball ran out.
Not that I know what that is.
Alright.
I did play pool a little bit. I'm not that good at it. I know what the 8 ball is. You can't sink it or you lose the game.
You can't sink that 8 ball.
No. You scratch on the 8 ball, it's bad.
The magic 8 ball is a little thing, and you ask questions and you flip.
And there's a magic 8 ball.
And
so there's 2 kinds. Only 2 though, there's not 3.
There's weekend 8 ball.
No, there isn't. There is not.
There's not. Question for this is from Vicky Singh. Question for you both. What will you do once bodybuilding is over? And when do you think bodybuilding as a career will be over for both of you? Ow. Jeez.
When will it be over?
I'm trying to speed up my freaking career.
So, for me, I never actually thought of there ever being an end. It hasn't occurred to me in my brain that I might end bodybuilding. But like, honestly, bodybuilding is forever. I mean, are we talking about actively competing? Do you think they mean like on stage competing or bodybuilding?
I think
because if I'm 85, I'm going to still be lifting weights.
Let's say bodybuilding. Let's say career, because it's obviously career bodybuilding. It's
so competitive bodybuilder flexing on
getting
stage.
on stage and trying to win some money, some shows, yada yada, place.
Okay,
When are you
well,
done
I've already
doing that?
planned this far ahead. I've already said I'm going to do a show at 50 for sure. Because, like, once I turn 50, because, like, you turn 40, your masters, 50, you're in another, let's call it age range. So I definitely want to be doing a show at 50.
Yeah.
So that's at least 6 more years.
Yeah.
And then after that, I mean, I don't want to, like, say anything, but I would assume at 60 I'll do another. Like, I don't see it ending. But being, like, good enough to actually be competitive, there ain't many years of that left. Not for me.
For me, let me see, I'm 37. I started thinking of I have like 3 to 5. Yeah, I'm working on my exit plan already. So I think I could squeeze out another like decade of this, to be honest. Like if I'm healthy still, my legs, everything's still growing. So I think I can last another decade, like Dexter Jackson is. You look at Phil Heath is 40. Sean Roden's 40 something, 42.
And think of this. It's not like you've been bodybuilding since you were a kid.
I only started.
It's not like you were like 2012 was the first show.
That was the first show ever.
So you just started.
So I
just like a baby.
So when I was playing football, trying to get into the NFL, CFL, Flex Lewis was getting his pro card. So think about that. So if I would have started as like a 21-year-old, 20-year-old, 18-year-old, whatever, I would be like, yeah, I'm going to be done pretty soon. But I only started in 2012.
A better question is, what age do you think you'll be your best at? Because you obviously haven't hit there yet.
My best
when
year?
will be your best? Will it be 40?
I think
39?
I think like 30.
How far are we off?
38, another year.
So one more year, that's the best. Then you'll probably just maintain that.
Yeah.
And then there's that little drop off.
I think I got a little bit. I think I can do a little bit more, like good growing, not like a lot of weight. Like I said, like 5 pounds here and there, 7 pounds if I can. I think I'll peak off and never gain anything more than that, and then that'll be it. And I'll just be trying to maintain that.
And I think for me, because I switched to classic, I don't think I've actually peaked yet, because my weight limit is such that I can only weigh 185, so I can still improve.
Plus riding a bike too. So as soon as you stop riding, if you even slow that down a little bit, you put on muscle.
I could get bigger, but I can't because I won't make my weight class. But to do better in classic physique, I just need a smaller waist and wider shoulders. So I can still build up here, shrink my legs down when they're already huge from the biking, and then I can just get bigger arms, bigger shoulders, and then when I compete again, I'll have the more V taper.
Yeah.
But I won't ever win, but I could maybe do a little bit better than I've done. I'm not all washed up.
Greg's too great. That's a good one. All right. Let's do another one. Let me get back train. How many calories does swimming burn per hour? Breaststroke and now. And does it affect your gains? That's a you question. Not because I can't swim. I can swim. Let's not even go there. This guy's actually really good swimmer.
Swimming calories burned depends on how good you are at swimming and your fitness level. So it's the same like thing. It's the same like asking how many calories do you burn on a stepper. Well, it depends. How much do you weigh? How much distance can you travel? There's too many factors. So why don't I just give you a range? Anywhere from couple of hundred to maybe 1,500 if you're an Olympic level big swimmer. It depends. If you're 300 pounds, you're going to burn twice as many calories as if you're 150 pounds. So me swimming, because I weigh almost 200 pounds and I'm in shape, I'm going to burn a lot more calories than some 110 pound person. So it depends. It depends. The average person of average weight, say 155 pounds, would probably burn 500 calories in an hour.
Swimming for an hour?
For an hour.
Let's try to swim for an hour.
I mean, if you can swim for an hour, you're obviously in shape.
You didn't even ask that? I don't think he asked for an hour.
It said per hour.
Did it say per hour?
Well, regardless, for 10 minutes, you
Whatever.
go by 6.
That's nuts.
But it's the same amount as the stepper. The same as walking on an incline treadmill to as many as you can burn at your fitness level. So there's no answer.
No answer. There you go. All right, Greg, get back to working out. I'm gonna answer this question. What initially got you into body? This is from Turklington. That's awesome. Sorry. Question for Johnny. What initially got you into bodybuilding or made you start lifting? What are your other hobbies and passions outside training? Jesus. All right. So I'll give you I'll try and get this really short. I started lifting weights when I was 11 years old. My uncle is a professional tennis coach, a all-Canadian football player, and a principal at the time He brought me to the University of Windsor to just work out with him. So I had a coach from the start in the gym. Then when I got to high school, I started getting that a lot more. I was playing football in 11th, and when I was 11 years old too. So I was like, oh, football and lifting weights, it works together, and it makes me better. So I was trying to be, an NFL football player. Not like when I was like out there gyms, I was really good. I was a top 10 recruit for U.S. schools running back when I was younger, and I blew a lot of scholarships. Another thing we could talk about. So I just basically tried to chase that and chase it, and then I ended up going to university out here in Nova Scotia. That's how I kind of met this guy after I played football. And then my last year, my last game, I was done. I couldn't play ball anymore. I was done with my eligibility years. And then I was like, what I gotta do next? Like I had no thought to do. I was graduating, I had my degree, and I was finishing my last year of football. And I was like, okay, so what do I do next? There's a bunch of guys in the area. Like this area is really rich in bodybuilding for some reason. And I always get questions like, why don't you bodybuild? And I was like, it's not gonna happen. I'm not doing that shit. It's crazy. And then, what is that? Oh, did they fall off? Finally fell off. Anyway, so basically, I call a couple buddies up. I'm like, when's that bodybuilding show that's gonna come up? And they're like, it's in April. I'm like, okay, well, I'll do it. So I prepped for my first show, and that's it. Literally, the first time I competed, I was like,
how many weeks did you diet for that first show? Like 10 weeks, 12, 15?
I started like.
And what did you weigh before?
So I weighed
after?
So I finished playing receiver, like inside slot, and I was 195 pounds. And then when I finished, I started, this weight, like training and stuff. So after the season's finished, I put more weight on because I'm not like running around for, hours on end.
Was it fat or muscle or both?
I would say both, because that was the first time I did my first cycle.
Oh, okay.
Was when it was test probe and mass probe. And then I did a shot of trying once, and not knowing how to do it at all, I took a shot and I started coughing by myself. And that was the last time I did trying. So I basically prepped with Masterone and Probe, 100 milligrams bi-weekly, every other day. And I ended up being 217.
Off season, like heaviest?
That's why I was on stage.
Oh, you were 217?
I was 217 on stage.
You were 212, I remember, before the show when I said you had to go light heavy.
I was 212. No, yes, I was 212. I was 217 when I was playing running back when I got to St. Mary's. So when I started playing football at St. Mary's, I was 217 pounds. When I finished playing football, I was 195, and then when I got on stage for the first time, I was 212. So I was 212 at one point.
Man.
I was 212 at one point, but I'm actually 5'7", so like as much as it would be great to be 212, like flexing's here. Like Hattie Chopin, all these guys, so like I would have to be, like me being too tall at 5'7", I'd end up having the same problem Zane's having. Being a little bit taller.
I hate that problem.
You would love that. Greg was trying to get me to be 212 the entire time I've known him.
He should have been 212 the entire time. How many of you?
I'm 255 pounds.
Now,
I look like this.
Back then, 2 years ago, how much were you when you turned pro? 223?
When I turned pro, I was super heavy. I was 220.
225?
No, I was 225.
Yeah. How many of you think he couldn't have been 13 pounds leaner?
For sure, could have been 13 pounds
Boom,
later.
212. Boom. There you go.
I would have been full blown. Like I would have been 212, and then all of a sudden can't do 212 anymore. You know who else was really small and could have been 212? Dexter Jackson. Sean Ray.
Dexter was light heavy.
Dexter was light as heck.
Yeah,
Look at him now. So
I
would have been a 212, say for a couple, maybe for a year.
It would have been good to try. It would have been fun.
I don't know.
What's the worst that can happen? You do it, and then you switch to open after. Just like doing classic. Regan Grimes. He did 212, not 212, freaking classic, and then went back to open. Didn't hurt his career. He did both. Best of both worlds.
I was trying to be open. I want to be open. That was my goal. When I came into bodybuilding, there wasn't 212. It was in the stuff. I wanted to be where the guys were. I wanted to be in that open class. So, do what you want. Do what you want.
Obviously, that's the case too.
Do what you want. And what anyone else tells you, do what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Greg.
I can't argue that.
Yeah, I win.
So
that's a win for me.
He doesn't win often.
It's a win for me.